Hi class, today our topic of discussion is arithmetic progression or AP. Let us see what is AP. Now, a sequence of terms are said to be in AP, are said to be in AP if the difference between two consecutive terms remains same. What do I mean by this? Just look at this. Suppose I take a series 2, 6, 10, 14, 18, dot. That's an increasing sequence if you see. That's an increasing sequence. And suppose I take something like 50, 45, 40, 35, 30, dot. This is a decreasing sequence. This is a decreasing sequence, isn't it? Now if you look carefully, the difference of two consecutive terms, which means the second term minus the first term, 6 minus 2 is 4. Similarly, 10 minus 6 is 4. 14 minus 10 is 4, isn't it? 18 minus 14 is 4. Over here, if you look, so over here you can say the difference is positive, isn't it? But if you look over here, 45 minus 50, that's minus 5. Similarly, 40 minus 45, that's minus 5. Similarly, 35 minus 40, that's minus 5. And 30 minus 35, that's minus 5. Over here we see the difference is negative, but it is constant. It remains the same. So the difference can be positive, can be negative. But if it remains same, then the terms are said to be in AP. Now look at this, which means suppose I take a sequence, suppose A1, A2, A3, A4, dot, and I tell that they are in AP. Then what do I mean? That the difference remains same, which means A2 minus A1 or A3 minus A2 or A4 minus A3 remains same. This is known as the difference, and it can be both, the difference can be both positive as in case of increasing sequence or negative as in case of decreasing sequence. Now let us look at finite AP, which means a sequence has finite number of terms, contains finite number of terms. For example, if you take 2, 4, 6, 8, dot, 50, these are in AP and there will be 25 terms. So this is finite AP. If we talk about infinite AP, infinite AP, it contains infinite number of terms, contains infinite number of terms. For example, if I say 5, 10, 15, 20, dot. We don't know what is the last term. So this is your infinite AP. Now let us see how to find the general term of AP. Now let us take a sequence of numbers A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, dot, and I tell that they are in AP. We know when we add D, we get the next term, isn't it? D can be positive in case of increasing sequence, D can be negative in case of decreasing sequence. Now look carefully, can I write A2 is equal to A1 plus D? Similarly, can I write A3 equals to A1 plus twice of D? A4 is equal to A1 plus thrice of D. Similarly, A5 equals to A1 plus 4 times d. Now, if you look at the pattern carefully, if I want to find the nth term, suppose I want to find the 17th term, A17, we know according to this sequence A1 plus 16d, which means if I want to find the nth term, it will be A1 plus n minus 1d. See, 17 minus 1, 16, 5 minus 1, 4. So this is the formula to find the general term of an AP. What I mean, suppose we have 5, 10, 15, 20. These are in AP. And I want to find the 20th term, A20. At times we say T20 also. Okay, T represents the term, the 20th term. What it will be? A1 plus n minus 1d. So your A1, which means the first term, is 5 plus 20th, so 20 minus 1, and the difference, see, the difference in this case is 10 minus 5, that's 5, that is constant over here. So this becomes 5 plus 19 into 5, that's 5 plus 95, that's 100. So the 20th term of this sequence in AP will be 100. Am I clear? So this is the formula. At times we write it like Tn is equal to A plus n minus 1d, or An is equal to A plus n minus 1d, where A represents the first term, okay, and D represents the difference between two consecutive terms. It can be positive as well as negative. Now let us see how to find the last term of a finite AP. The last term will be nothing but same, A plus n minus 1d, where n is the total number of terms in a finite series. Am I clear? Or finite AP better? Am I clear? Now let us see how to find the nth term from the end in a finite AP. Now suppose I take a sequence of numbers in AP. Suppose I take A, then the second term will be A plus D. This will be A plus 2D dot 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 dot. Suppose the last term is L. Then the previous term to the last term will be L minus D. Similarly, previous to this will be L minus 2D. Isn't it? Now if I write this in reverse, what I'll get? I'll get L minus D, L minus 2D dot 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 dot, A plus 2D, A plus D, A. And if you look carefully, these are also in AP, where nth, suppose this is your 1, this is your 2. So nth term of 2, or we can say nth term from the end of 1 will be equal to, what will be the nth term of this sequence in AP? The first term L plus n minus 1 and D. If you look at the difference is what over here? Look, L minus D minus L, this minus this, isn't it? That's minus D, L minus n minus 1 D. So this will be the nth term from the end of an sequence in AP. Clear? Now let us see how to find the difference of any two terms of an AP. Suppose we take A a plus d, a plus 2d dot 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 dot. These are in AP, isn't it? And I want the difference between nth term and mth term. Okay, now look carefully. The nth term will be equal to a plus n minus 1d, and the mth term will be again a plus m minus 1d. Difference means you subtract these two. So when you subtract these two, a nth minus a m is equal to, this cancels out and this becomes n minus 1d minus m minus 1d, which is equal to, if you open the bracket, nd minus d plus d, which is d taken common, so n minus m, which is the difference of any two terms of an AP will be simply n minus m into d. Clear what I mean? Suppose you take a series, a sequence of numbers in AP. Suppose I take 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 dot dot dot, and I want the difference in the 16th term and the 10th term. So this will be simply, see, 16 minus 10 into d. D is what? 4 minus 2 is 2. So that's 6 multiplied by 2, that's 12. So the difference of the 16th term and the 10th term is 12. Clear? Now let us see how to find the middle term of a finite AP. Very easy. If there are two cases, if there are odd number of terms, then the middle term will be n plus 1 by 2th term. Suppose there are 15 terms in a sequence which are in AP, then 15 plus 1 by 2, that's the 8th term will be the middle term. Similarly, if you have even number of terms, then there will be two terms which will be in middle. Then the middle term will be your n by 2th term, okay, and n by 12 plus 1th term. What do I mean? Suppose you have A1, A2, A3, A4. See, there are 4 terms, even number of terms. Then these two are your middle term. But if you look at A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, there are odd number of terms, then only this is your middle term. Clear? Now the last thing before we start the exercise. If A, B, C are in AP, then B minus A is equal to C minus B. Can I write? Which means, can I write 2B equals to A plus C? So A, B and C are in AP only if and if 2B is equal to A plus C. Now just a small note please. If in a sum you are required to find 3 numbers in AP, then take the numbers as A minus D, A and A plus D. This will help you to do the sum. Similarly, if they tell you to find 4 numbers in AP, take it as A minus 3D, A minus D, A plus D and A plus 3D. Clear? Now let us look at the exercise on this chapter. Now look at exercise 9.2. 9.1 is very easy. You can try on your own. Sum number 1. Find the AP whose nth term is 7 minus 3n. Also find the 20th term. Now look carefully. For n equals to 1, which is your first term, will be equal to 7 minus 3 into 1. That's 7 minus 3. That's 4. Similarly, T2, second term, will be for n equals to 2, 7 minus 3 into 2, that's 7 minus 6, that's 1. Similarly, n equals to 3, you have t3, 7 minus 3 into 3, which is 7 minus 9, that's minus 2. Similarly, when I say n equals 2, they've asked for the 20th term, n equals to 20, t20 will be 7 minus 3 multiplied by 20, that's 7 minus 60, that's minus 53. So your AP will be 4, 1, minus 2, dot, 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 dot. And your 20th term will be minus 53. Done. Now let us look at part 2. Find the indicated term in the given AP. They want A25 and AN. Very simple. The first term of this AP is minus 4, and the common difference is the second term minus the first term, which is minus 7 plus 4, which is minus 3. So your A25 will be A plus n minus 1D. We know this, okay? So your A25, your A is minus 4 plus, this is 25 minus 1 into minus 3, that's minus 4 plus 24 multiplied by minus 3, that's minus 4 minus 72, that's minus 76. Done. They want the nth term also, an equals to A plus n minus 1D, which is minus 4 plus n minus 1 into minus 3. Just open the bracket. So this is minus 4 minus 3n plus 3, which will be minus 1 minus 3n. Done. Now let us look at the next sum. Now look at sum number 4. Find the 8th term of an AP whose first term is 7 and common difference is 3. Very easy. The first term is 7 and D is 3. So your 8th term will be A plus n minus 1D. Your n is 8, so it will be 7 plus 8 minus 1 multiplied by 3. That gives you 7 plus 7 multiplied by 3. That gives you 7 plus 21. That's 28. Done. Now look at sum number 5 part 2, which says if the first term of an AP is minus 18, which means your A is minus 18 and its 10th term is 0, so T10 is 0. Find the common difference. They are asking for D. Very easy. We know T10 will be A plus n minus 1D. Now substitute the values. So 0 equals to minus 18 plus 10 minus 1D, which means 18 equals to 90, which means 18 by 9 equals to D, which means your D is nothing but 2. Done. Now let us look at the next sum. Now let us look at 6 part 2. Which term of the AP 7, 13, 19 dot 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 is 205, which means the number of term of this. Now we know Tn equals to A plus n minus 1D. You need to find D in this case. You see, A is 7. What is common difference? 13 minus 7. That's 6. Put the value. So 205 equals to 7 plus n minus 1 multiplied by 6. So 205 equals to 7 plus 6n minus 6, which means 205 equals to 1 plus 6n, which means 204 equals to 6n, which means n will be 204 by 6, that's 34. So n is 34. So the 34th term will be 205. Done. Now let us look at 7 part 1. Check whether minus 150 is a term of the AP 11852 dot dot dot. We need to find n over here. If n is a fraction, this is not possible. This is not the term of this AP. And if n comes a natural number, then it is possible. Let us check it out. First, A. The first term is 11. Find D. D is what? 8 minus 11, that's minus 3. Now let us assume that this is the nth term. Then Tn equals to A plus n minus 1D. So minus 150 is equal to 11 plus n minus 1 into minus 3. Am I clear? Which means minus 150 minus 11 equals to minus 3n plus 3. Okay, that becomes minus 161. Minus 164 equals to minus 3n, which means n equals to 164 by 3, which is 3 5s are 15, 3 4s are 12, which is a fraction. Hence, I told you n cannot be a fraction. Hence, minus 150 is not a term of this AP. Done. Now let us look at the next sum. Now look at sum number 8 part 2. Find the 12th term from the end of the AP minus 2, minus 4, minus 6, minus 10. Okay, just look over here. Your first term is minus 2 and the common difference is minus 4 minus of minus 2. That's minus 4 plus 2, that's minus 2. Now the nth term from n, so the 12th term from end can be written as C L minus n minus 1D. We know the last term is minus 100, so that's minus 100 minus 12 minus 1 and D is minus 2, which is minus 100. This will be plus 22, which is equal to minus 78. Done. Now let us look at number 10, which is very interesting. Which term of the AP 53, 48, 43 is the first negative term? Now look carefully. This is a decreasing sequence, which means there will be a time when we'll start negative numbers. Now look carefully. Let Tn be the first negative term, which means, can I write Tn is less than 0? Which means, what is Tn? Tn is A plus n minus 1D. That will be less than 0. What is A in this case? A in this case is 53 and D is 48 minus 53. So your D is minus 5. Now solve it. So this is 53 plus n minus 1 into minus 5. This is less than 0, which means 53 minus 5n plus 5 less than 0, which means 53 plus 5, that's 58 minus 5n less than 0, which means, can I write 58 less than 5n, which means 58 by 5 less than n, which means this can be written as n greater than 58 by 5 is how much? 11 3 by 5, which means your n will be greater than 11 3 by 5, which means the n will be what? 12, which means your 12th term will be your first negative term. Okay, now let us look at the next sum. Now look at this sum, very interesting. Sum number 11. Determine the AP whose fifth term, so T5 is given as 19, and the difference of the 8th term from the 13th term, which means T13 minus T8 is given as 20. You need to find the AP. Now let the first term be A and common difference be D. Now look carefully. T5 will be what? A plus 5 minus 1D, that will be equal to 19. Am I clear? T13 will be A plus 13 minus 1D minus T8 will be A plus 8 minus 1D, and this is equal to 20. Am I clear? These two are two equations. Now just solve it. This is a plus 4d equals to 90, and this is, if I open the bracket, if a plus 12d minus this is a minus this is 7d equals to 20, which means 5d equals to 20, which means d equals to 4. We got the common difference. Put it over here. So your a plus 4 multiplied by 4 equals to 19, which means your a is 19 minus 16, that's 3. So you got the AP. The first term is 3 and the common difference is 4. So 3 plus 4, 7. 7 plus 4, 11. 11 plus 4, 15. So this is your AP. Done. Now rest of the sums of this exercise 9.2 we'll do in the next video. Okay. Till then, take care.